Hey, it's Jordan with TYT and TYT Politics. I am in Detroit in front of what used to be a school, closed down about 5 years ago. I got my posse behind me, and we probably got 20 minutes left of light, so I'm doing this hot potato style. I want to start with the minister because I'm kind of depressed talking to all these people across the Midwest, and you got a lot of energy. Minister Shabazz, talk to me about what this used to be and what you're seeing in your community with education falling to the wayside and other things.
Well, this Corville Elementary was one of the finest schools in our city. As you can see, it's still a beautiful plant. But the state of Michigan closed it down. Our no good governor closed it down
5 years ago?
3 to 5 years ago. They've closed down over 100 schools in Detroit. They took over the school system, the public school system, in 1999. Since then, they've kept us in a perpetual state of mismanagement. Taxation without representation. They forced us into consent agreements. We call them decent agreements, or straight up emergency managership. Study, Google, those are the draconian King George laws that takes away the people's right to vote. We are the last people. Everything we got, we had to fight for. We had to organize for. We had to bleed and die. Nobody gave us nothing for free, including all the hell they made us pay for that. But we're the first ones whose votes they take over. All the people poisoned in Flint, that's Governor Snyder and the Republicans control the governor's office. They have the majority of the House. They have the majority of the Senate. They got the majority on the Michigan State Court of Appeals, the Michigan State Supreme Court, the Attorney General. They got that. The Secretary of State. I mean, look, we're under siege, man. We are sharecropping, and sharecropping is tantamount to chattel enslavement.
When they close these schools down, where are they sending the kids?
The kids, many are going to charter schools, many are going to school outside of Detroit. And of course, it only adds to the dropout rate. People like their school. They name it, they claim it, they get close to their teachers. This is very disheartening to the children, and it all adds to crime. We had no deficit in 99 when they took over. $93 million budget surplus, no layoffs, no cutbacks, no school closings, no taking employees part of their pension or making them pay 20% of their health care. None of that. The state of Michigan wrecked a perfectly good educational system. The state of Michigan has contributed to our crime problem. When kids don't get educated, what you gonna do? If you're already born into poverty, if you got a big brother who been in prison and another brother, and you may not, I'm generalizing, you may not know who your father is. There's poverty in the house. They got to pass by 20 abandoned houses. They got to pass by people want to sell them a watch that don't belong to them. Grown-ups rob kids at bus stops in Detroit, pulled off, sawed off shotguns for their cell phones, for their lunch money. This is what we're dealing with. And the murder, the rape, the robbery is off the chain. It would exist if Governor Snyder wasn't in office, but he has exacerbated it. He has made it worse.
I'm told by all the know-it-alls that charter schools are great and that, every kid should want to be in a charter school. What's the consequences or results you've seen from these schools being closed down and charters?
You have some charter schools that are good, and you have some charter schools, and you have many that are not. And the thing about the charter schools is that many who are setting up charter schools are doing it for profit only. It's not about a concern about educating the children. This is strictly profit driven. And that's one of the reasons that we are really and have stood the test of time with this fight. Because for us, it's about a fight for the minds and the control of our children. It's about not miseducating our children, but educating our children. And as statistics shows, the data shows that prior to the state of Michigan coming in, taking over our public schools, your duly elected, your local control officials was doing a good job in terms of educating the children. There was no deficit. So the state cannot claim that they came in and took over our school system because of financial difficulties. They came and took over the school district because DPS had money. When the state of Michigan took over DPS had over $1.5 billion for capital improvement. We had a $95 million rainy day fund. We had over 183,000 students. And our test scores, in terms of the children's test scores in the state of Michigan, we were in the middle, and our test scores were rising. Right. So the whole idea of taking over the school system was all about the money. Right. Now they have squandered the money. All the money is gone. They have enacted unfair laws. For example, the law that was acted, Public Act, I believe it's 172. I'm not sure on the number. But in that particular act, Detroit is the only school district who can hire uncertified teachers to teach their children, when yet in all the other districts in the state of Michigan, they must have certified teachers. So it's about equal access to opportunity that we're fighting for. We're fighting for the right for local control. We're fighting for the right for self-determination. And we're still fighting for the right for our vote to count. It is a disservice what the state of Michigan has done to the people of the city of Detroit. The deception, which is to hold elections. And citizens, so-called citizens, go to the polls to vote. And you vote for your elected official, but yet all the power is stripped from your elected officials. So it's more deception.
They opening up liquor stores and weed and strip bars and things of that nature, but the schools are shut down. The stores selling groceries and healthy foods are shut down, and you tell the kids, watch this, lay in your cesspool and figure out how to do right. Figure out how to stay whole. Figure out how to still see God. When you're trying to blind them with blight and crime and then make them hate each other, then watch this. So when the kid get put out of Corville Elementary and middle school, you grow up with no friends. You grow up with no structure, with no camaraderie. So now I'll bus you over to the school on 7 Mile, and they know the kids on 7 Mile don't get along with the kids on Nevada. So now I'm gonna have school fights. School fights turn to gang wars. Yep. Gang wars turn to shootouts and retaliation street and drive-bys. Now the mother gets shot because her son went to school on 7 Mile and her nephew went on 6 Mile. So you got families out shooting and beefing and crying. Now here we come, me and Minister Shabazz, doing prep visuals every day. Now they shooting up prep visuals even last night. Yep. Shot up a prep visual 2 nights ago. So where are we going with this? I'm telling America, you do not see this in Birmingham. You do not in the suburbs of Detroit. You would not see this over in Grosse Pointe. You won't see this. You won't see this over here in New Jersey, where they what they call when they do the white parties at. Yeah. In the Hamptons, you won't have this problem in the Hamptons. You won't have these issues in the suburban parts. Watch this, because dollar money rules. Because you got to get your foot on our kids' neck and breaking the educational schools, shutting down the wrecks. You can't go out and play. Stay in the house or go in the backyard and get shot with an AK. You can't go to school and learn in your own and walk to school and get there and have a decent lunch program and have love.
A lot of parents right now are struggling, and this is why we need quality education in our own schools, where the children can walk to the school and get a quality education. This is what we need. So we need help. You know, a lot of people in Detroit, we are struggling. We are struggling from day to day, but we do the best we can with the help of God. You know, a lot of people in this community, they keep their property up, and they want this property that this school sits on. They want this property maintained. It's a play area that sits directly in the back of the school. But many other parents have told me that they do not want their children playing on that playground because the grass is so high. And they don't feel safe with their children playing over here because the building is all open and they feel subject to danger. They feel subject that their kids might be hurt, raped, beat, robbed, thrown in there, the body just thrown in the building, in the school building.
Right.
So the parents are afraid to let their kids play right in their own community.
One thing that sticks out to me is you don't see the governor come down to this area. The people running the show are very disconnected from what you guys are dealing with.
You're absolutely correct. Minister Malik Shabazz mentioned that the governor made cuts of $2 billion to corporate America.
Yep.
And he made those cuts on the back of senior citizens on fixed income
Yep.
and the poor lower class taxpayers.
That's right.
$1.6 billion tax cuts from senior citizens on fixed incomes.
Yep.
Now, he reduced the taxes to the rich.
Yep.
And in order to make that up on the budget, he took it from the poor.
Yep.
Do you understand that? And the effects that it has in our community. Now, it's fine and well in Bloomfield Hills. It's fine and well in the suburban community, but here is where it has the effects. If you go to Myers, if you go to McDonald's, you will see senior citizens working now
Yep.
as a result of the decrease in their fixed incomes.
And they work in McDonald's.
I just mentioned that. Absolute senior
Yeah,
citizens.
not the kids.
Taking the kids' jobs away from
But
them.
they gotta live.